Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that just 30 minutes a day could shape the next 30 years of your life? We live in a world driven by speed, fast food, fast money, fast answers. But the secret to a meaningful, productive, and free life isn't speed, it's intentionality. It's about how you use your time, not how much of it you have. Let's take 30 minutes, just half an hour. Instead of spending it scrolling endlessly, worrying about tomorrow, or drowning in tasks, invest it in mastering three powerful forces: mindfulness, productivity, and freedom. First, mindfulness. In those 30 minutes, learn to breathe, to pause, to reflect, to simply be present, because if you don't control your mind, it will control you. Mindfulness isn't passive, it's the most active choice you can make to live deliberately. Second, productivity. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. With 30 focused minutes, you can plan your priorities, execute one meaningful task, or simply clear mental clutter. Daily, this compounds into massive results. And third, freedom. True freedom isn't the absence of responsibility. It's the presence of clarity. When you are mindful and productive, you buy back your time. You start living by design, not by default. You choose what matters and walk away from what doesn't. So yes, 30 minutes may seem small, but the habit of showing up for yourself, just for 30 minutes a day, will shape your habits, your mindset, your relationships, your wealth, and your future. Because the next 30 years don't happen all at once. They happen one focused moment at a time. We often underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. In a world obsessed with overnight success and instant gratification, it's easy to dismiss 30 minutes as insignificant. But consider this: 30 minutes a day amounts to over 180 hours a year. That's nearly a full month of working time, solely dedicated to growth, clarity, and direction. What you choose to do in those 30 minutes matters. When you dedicate just half an hour each day to personal development, focused thinking, and purposeful actions, you begin to shift your mindset, reshape your habits, and reprogram the direction of your life. This is not about occasional breakthroughs. It's about daily, deliberate effort. Imagine what happens when you spend 30 minutes each day learning a new skill, journaling your thoughts, planning your goals, meditating for clarity, or simply disconnecting from the noise of the world. Over time, this consistent practice rewires your brain, deepens your self-awareness, and boosts your discipline. You begin to see patterns, make better choices, and act with intent. Most people spend more than 30 minutes a day on social media, watching TV, or worrying about things outside their control. But those who choose to take those same 30 minutes and invest them into themselves begin to build a compound advantage that pays dividends over the years. The truth is, your life isn't changed in one dramatic moment. It's changed in a series of quiet, powerful decisions repeated over time. And one of the most powerful decisions you can make is to claim 30 minutes each day as sacred, time that belongs to your future self. It becomes your daily ritual, your personal revolution, your secret weapon against distraction and stagnation. 30 minutes may not change your life today or even next week, but done consistently, it holds the power to reshape the next 30 years of your story. It's not about how much time you have. It's about how intentionally you choose to use the time you're given. In today's fast-paced, always connected world, your mind is constantly bombarded with noise, notifications, deadlines, expectations, and worries about the future. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to everything that comes their way without ever pausing to reflect. But mindfulness is the practice that breaks this cycle. It allows you to slow down, breathe, and reclaim control over your mental space. Mindfulness is not some abstract spiritual concept. It's a practical, grounded skill, the ability to observe your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. When you dedicate even a small portion of your day, just 30 minutes, to being mindful, you start noticing the patterns of your mind. You become aware of the stories you tell yourself, the anxieties you carry, and the emotions that drive your decisions. This awareness is powerful. Why? because you can't change what you don't notice. Mindfulness helps you create space between stimulus and response. Instead of reacting impulsively, you start responding with clarity. You become less controlled by emotions and more grounded in awareness. That's where freedom begins, and it's not just about emotional control. Numerous scientific studies have shown that mindfulness reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, improves focus, and even boosts immunity. When your mind is clear and centered, your decisions improve, your relationships deepen, and your creativity flourishes. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means experiencing life as it happens, fully and intentionally. The more time you spend being mindful, the less your mind drifts to regrets of the past or fears of the future. You begin to live life as it unfolds, with a sense of peace and presence that others can feel in your words, your actions, and your energy. So when you set aside 30 minutes a day for mindfulness, whether it's through meditation, deep breathing, reflection, or simply walking without distraction, you're not just relaxing. You're building mental strength, emotional resilience, and the ability to stay centered no matter what life throws your way. Life doesn't come with a pause button. Challenges arrive unannounced, emotions rise without warning, and unexpected detours shake our plans. Without inner stability, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or reactive. But when you commit to a daily practice of mindfulness, even just for 30 minutes, you gradually develop a powerful internal resource, emotional clarity. Emotional clarity means being able to understand what you feel and why you feel it. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending to be calm. It's about observing your inner world with honesty and compassion. When you practice mindfulness, you train your mind to notice your emotional responses as they arise. You begin to see anger before it explodes, sadness before it spirals, or fear before it paralyzes. That moment of noticing, that tiny gap between reaction and response, is where your personal power lives. And the more you practice mindfulness, the wider that gap becomes. Instead of being pulled into emotional storms, you start becoming the calm center in the chaos. Over time, this clarity builds emotional resilience. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain or stress. It means you don't collapse under them. You can sit with discomfort, ride through uncertainty, and still maintain your direction. Mindfulness gives you the tools to breathe through the hard moments, to ground yourself when life spins, and to respond from wisdom rather than impulse. Think of your emotions like waves. Without mindfulness, you're tossed and thrown by them. But with regular practice, you learn to surf, to ride the waves instead of drowning in them. You can acknowledge your feelings without being consumed by them. This inner stability is not only vital for your own peace, but it makes you a better partner, leader, friend, and decision maker. And the beauty of it is that it only takes a small daily commitment. 30 minutes of quiet reflection, journaling, or breathwork can unlock emotional insights that therapy or conversation alone may never reach. You begin to understand your triggers, heal old wounds, and develop compassion for yourself and others. Mindfulness is not a one-time solution. It's a daily discipline. But with consistency, it becomes your emotional foundation, helping you stay grounded in truth, calm in conflict, and strong in adversity. In our hyper, connected, always on world, being busy has become a badge of honor. We race through task lists, answer emails late into the night, and fill every free moment with activity. But here's the hard truth. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Productivity, real, meaningful productivity, isn't measured by how much you do. It's measured by how intentionally you direct your energy toward what truly matters. It's about alignment, not volume. When you take 30 minutes a day to step back, breathe, and prioritize, you begin to distinguish the urgent from the important. You learn to ask powerful questions. What is my highest leverage task today? What outcome will move me closer to my goals? What can I let go of? These questions cut through the noise and reveal the essentials. Most people don't take this time. They jump into the day without clarity, putting out fires and reacting to whatever grabs their attention first. But this reactive mode creates stress, burnout, and a constant feeling of never doing enough. In contrast, intentional productivity brings peaceful progress. You do less, but you accomplish more. By setting aside 30 focused minutes daily to review your goals, plan your actions, and execute with intention, you start building momentum in the direction of your values. These small wins, repeated daily, compound into massive transformation over time. Productivity also means learning to say no. When you understand what matters most, you can confidently eliminate distractions, delegate tasks, and protect your energy. You stop measuring success by how many boxes you check and start measuring it by how deeply you're living your purpose. This kind of focus isn't natural. It has to be practiced. That's why these 30 minutes matter so much. They're not just about planning or working. They're about training your mind to resist the pull of shallow work and instead invest in what creates real value for your career, your relationships, your health, and your legacy. True productivity gives you back your time, your clarity, and your confidence. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with full presence and power. We often search for breakthroughs, those dramatic, overnight changes that promise instant success or transformation. But the real secret to lasting success isn't found in a single moment of brilliance. It's found in the quiet, often unnoticed actions you repeat every day. Just like compound interest grows your money over time, consistent habits compound your results, building momentum that becomes nearly unstoppable. The 30 minutes you invest each day, whether in learning, journaling, planning, or reflecting, might seem small in isolation. But when stacked day after day, week after week, they create exponential change. This is the power of the compound effect. Small efforts multiplied by time and consistency yield extraordinary outcomes. Think about it, reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much. But in a year, that's over 600 pages, the equivalent of 10-15 full books. Meditating for 30 minutes each day may not feel transformative at first, but over time it strengthens your focus, reduces your reactivity, and rewires your brain for calm and clarity. Writing down your goals daily doesn't take long, but it continually sharpens your direction and strengthens your commitment. What matters most is not how intense your effort is, but how consistent it is. Most people fail not because they lack talent or passion, but because they stop showing up when results don't come fast enough. But those who commit to daily action, no matter how small, unlock a force more powerful than motivation, momentum. Consistency also creates identity. When you do something every day, you stop seeing it as a task and start seeing it as part of who you are. You're no longer someone trying to be focused or disciplined. You become someone who is focused and disciplined. Each 30-minute window is like a brick. Lay one brick well every day, and over the years you'll have built a strong, beautiful foundation for the life you want. But skip those small actions, and years pass with nothing but empty space. The truth is, greatness isn't built in big leaps. It's built in tiny, committed steps repeated long enough to become second nature. And 30 minutes a day is more than enough to start. We often think of freedom as the ability to do whatever we want, whenever we want. It sounds liberating, but in reality, this version of freedom often leads to chaos, lack of purpose, and regret. True freedom isn't about escaping work, responsibility, or structure. True freedom is about having the power to choose your life intentionally, to live it on your own terms with clarity and control. And that kind of freedom doesn't happen by accident. It requires discipline. It may sound paradoxical, but the most disciplined people are often the freest. Why? Because they've trained themselves to stay focused on what matters, to say no to distractions, and to consistently show up for their goals. While others are reactive, chasing pleasure, or avoiding discomfort, disciplined people are intentional. They do the work others avoid, and as a result, they gain more control over their time, their emotions, and their future. Clarity is the second key. If you don't know what you want, the world will decide for you. But when you spend even 30 minutes a day reflecting on your priorities, values, and vision, you start creating a blueprint for the life you want. Clarity gives you direction. It helps you say, this is who I am, this is what I'm building, this is what I will not compromise. And the third element, designing your life. Most people don't design their lives, they drift through them. They follow routines they didn't choose, accept jobs they don't love, and live by expectations they never questioned. But life design means stepping back and asking, what kind of life would truly fulfill me? Then, piece by piece, action by action, you start building it. When you invest 30 minutes a day into this kind of thinking and planning, you break the illusion that freedom is found in leisure or escape. You realize real freedom is being able to wake up in the morning and say, I know what matters today, and I have the tools and discipline to live it fully. You may still have responsibilities, jobs, bills, and challenges, but you're no longer a prisoner to them. You become the architect of your life, not just a passenger in it. Most people spend their days reacting to deadlines, to messages, to problems, and to the expectations of others. In this reactive state, we rarely pause to ask the deeper questions. What do I actually want? Is this the right direction for me? Am I acting with intention or simply surviving the day? The answer to these questions comes not from external advice or motivation, but from the quiet, consistent practice of investing in yourself. When you dedicate just 30 minutes a day to reflection, planning, learning, or mindfulness, you begin to build a relationship with yourself. And in doing so, you sharpen your ability to make decisions that are aligned with who you really are and what you really want. Most poor decisions stem from a lack of clarity or emotional imbalance. But when you take the time daily to slow down, breathe, and check in with your values and priorities, you operate from a state of awareness and alignment. You no longer make choices out of fear, stress, or the need to please others. Instead, you choose from a place of wisdom and calm. You develop the ability to respond, not react. This self-investment also improves your ability to set goals that are not only ambitious but authentic. Without that daily reflection, many people set goals based on comparison, what others are doing, what society expects, or what looks impressive. But when you consistently invest time in your own inner work, your goals become clear, grounded, and personally meaningful. You start asking, what kind of life feels right for me, rather than what will make others approve of me. You align your outer ambitions with your inner compass, and here's the most powerful part. When you know yourself deeply, you stop wasting time chasing things that don't matter. You avoid burnout because you're not climbing someone else's ladder. You move with purpose, and that purpose drives more intelligent, efficient, and fulfilling decisions. 30 minutes a day may not seem like much, but it's enough to reset your direction, reinforce your focus, and reconnect with your vision. Over time, this investment in yourself becomes the most valuable asset you own. It guides your goals, your energy, and the quality of every choice you make. In a world of endless notifications, infinite scrolling, and constant distractions, your attention is under siege. Every app, ad, and alert is designed to steal a piece of your focus. But here's the truth. What you give your attention to is what shapes your life. Your attention is your most valuable currency, and how you spend it determines the quality of your thoughts, your work, your relationships, and ultimately your future. A distracted mind is scattered, reactive, and easily manipulated. But a focused mind is calm, creative, and incredibly powerful. It can cut through complexity, solve difficult problems, build deep connections, and bring ambitious visions to life. The problem is, focus doesn't just happen, it has to be trained. That's where your 30, minute daily practice comes in. When you devote time each day to being present, whether through meditation, deep work, planning, or even mindful breathing, you strengthen your ability to control your attention rather than let it be controlled. You begin to notice how easily your mind gets pulled away. You see the urge to check your phone, the drift into overthinking, the itch for constant stimulation. And by simply noticing, you create the power to choose differently. You don't need 12 hours of productivity a day to achieve success. You need 1 hour of undistracted, deeply focused work that matters. You don't need to consume every piece of information. You need to pay attention to the right information. A focused mind gets more done in less time, with less stress and more impact, and the benefits go far beyond work. Focus improves your ability to listen, to connect, to be fully present with the people you love. It deepens your ability to enjoy life as it unfolds, without constantly needing to be somewhere else. Think of your attention like a flashlight. You can shine it on distractions, on fears, on chaos, or you can direct it with precision toward your goals, your growth, and your values. That's the difference between a scattered life and a focused one. So when you protect 30 minutes each day to train your attention, you are not just creating calm, you are building one of the rarest and most powerful assets in the modern world. A focused, directed, and resilient mind, when people feel stuck, unfulfilled, or off track in life, they often believe that the solution is a dramatic change, a new job, a big move, a bold leap into the unknown. And while big decisions have their place, they are not always the answer. In fact, most meaningful transformations don't begin with massive overhauls. They begin with small, consistent rituals done with intention. You don't need to change everything overnight. What you need is to change something purposefully every day. The power lies in the ritual. A ritual is more than a routine. It's a sacred habit, an intentional pause in your day where you reconnect with your values, goals, and vision. It can be as simple as 30 minutes each morning where you sit in silence, review your goals, reflect in a journal, read something meaningful, or focus on your breath. These moments create an anchor. No matter what chaos unfolds around you, that daily ritual becomes your grounding force, a place of clarity, peace, and purpose. Over time, it becomes a rhythm that starts reshaping your identity from the inside out. You may not be able to change your entire schedule today. You may still have work, responsibilities, and deadlines, but you can claim 30 minutes, and that 30-minute ritual becomes the spark of transformation. It's the declaration that your growth matters, that your time has value, that your mind and spirit deserve attention. The beauty of a ritual is that it doesn't require perfection. It just requires commitment. Show up even if imperfectly, and let that commitment build your momentum. Over time, those 30 minutes begin to spill over into the rest of your day. You make better decisions. You feel more centered. You carry your intention into your conversations, your work, your challenges. Most people keep waiting for the right time to start changing their lives. But the right time is now, and the right way is small, consistent steps, anchored by a ritual that honors your future self. You don't need to flip your life upside down. You just need to start carving out space every day to become who you're meant to be. It's easy to underestimate the power of a single moment. We often think change must come in waves. A new year, a new decade, a new life event. But the truth is, your future is being written in every small decision you make right now, especially the ones you repeat daily. The next 30 years won't be defined by a single breakthrough. They'll be defined by what you choose to invest in, moment by moment. And one of the most important investments you can make is what you do in the next 30 minutes. Will you scroll endlessly, or will you reflect intentionally? Will you procrastinate again, or will you begin, just for today? Will you numb out with noise or sit quietly with your thoughts? Will you ignore your dreams for one more day or take the smallest step toward them? This isn't just about productivity or mindfulness. It's about ownership. Every 30-minute block you take seriously becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. If you build it with distraction, you get chaos. If you build it with clarity, you get freedom. If you build it with doubt, you drift. But if you build it with purpose, you begin to live on your terms. 30 minutes can change the energy of your entire day. It can reconnect you to your vision, align you with your values, and reset your mind for courage, peace, and focus. It's not a sacrifice, it's a gift you give to your future self over and over again. You don't need to see the whole path to walk forward. You just need to commit to this moment, knowing that small hinges swing big doors. The life you want in 10, 20, or 30 years is not waiting for you in the future. It's hiding in your habits today, and those habits start with what you choose to do in the next 30 minutes. You don't need to wait for a new year, a promotion, or a perfect moment. You need just 30 minutes, a quiet window of time, to pause, reflect, and take action toward the life you truly want. Those 30 minutes, practiced daily, can shape your mindset, sharpen your focus, and build a future rooted in purpose, peace, and power. Your freedom, your growth, your success, it's not a distant dream. It's a daily choice, so take back your minutes, master your mind, honor your time, and build a life so intentional, so aligned, that the next 30 years become a masterpiece. One day, one breath, one focused moment at a time. The next 30 years of your life start now. Make them count.